So with the NFL draft right around the corner, people are beginning to speculate a lot about this year's quarterback class and which order they will come off the board. And this is one of the better quarterback classes of the last few years, so there's a lot to look forward to, and speculation is running rampant, of course. That said, today I thought it'd be fun to throw my hat into the ring of speculation and give you a list of my top 10 quarterbacks in this year's draft class from worst to first. But before we get into this video, I seriously need to take some time to thank you all so much for your support. We've been gaining over 100 subscribers every day for the past couple of days, and I'm so grateful for all of your support. Also, I want to quickly mention that only a small percentage of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so if you do end up enjoying this video and haven't done so already, please do consider subscribing for daily NFL content. And with that being said, let's get started. Coming in at number 10, we have the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors quarterback, Cole McDonald. Now, Cole McDonald is a junior coming out of the University of Hawaii, and quite honestly, I think he should have stuck it out for his senior year. Now, Cole McDonald has a cannon for an arm and is both mechanically and athletically gifted. However, he needs a lot of work. His accuracy is severely inconsistent. He struggles when it does come to reading a defense, and his decision-making tends to be subpar. Overall, Cole McDonald is a late-round pick that's going to take a few years to develop. Moving on, coming in at number 9, we have the Iowa Hawkeyes quarterback Nathan Stanley. Now, Nathan Stanley is a senior coming out of the University of Iowa who has started 39 consecutive games with a 27-12 record over 3 seasons. Now, Nathan Stanley is a traditional pocket passer in the purest sense of the words, with experience running a pro-style offense, which gives him a severe advantage coming out of college. He's also comfortable with reading defenses pre-snap and is able to take command over an offense. However, the issues really start to become evident post-snap. His accuracy is hit or miss, he isn't always aware of his surroundings, and his crux is his lack of athleticism. He's going down if the pocket gets too tight. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's not going to break out and run for a few yards to get a first down, and this severely limits his ability to thrive in certain situations. Overall, while the lack of athleticism can be worked around, he has a lot of outstanding issues that make him a developmental late-round pick. Next up, coming in at number 8, we have the Washington State Cougars quarterback, Anthony Gordon. Now, Anthony Gordon is a senior coming out of Washington State, and there's a lot of pros when it comes to Anthony Gordon's game. He has great pocket awareness, he's willing to stick it out, take a hit, and make the throw, and he has great touch on the ball and is surprisingly mobile as well. That said, the cons definitely outweigh the pros. To start, although he is a senior, he only has one full season of college ball on his resume. He's simply inexperienced, and on top of that, he didn't run a pro-style offense in college, which puts him at a severe disadvantage. Then you take into account his incredibly messy footwork, which leads to inconsistent accuracy, and compound all of that with spotty decision-making. Look, Anthony Gordon has potential, but he's gonna need a lot of help to tap into that potential. And because of that, he's a late-round developmental pick. Moving on, coming in at number 7, we have the Georgia Bulldogs quarterback, Jake Fromm. Now, Jake Fromm is a junior coming out of the University of Georgia, and quite honestly, I think he should have stuck it out through his senior season to take full advantage of his time in college. Now, that said, Jake Fromm is still a pretty decent prospect. His football IQ is his biggest asset. His decision-making is solid. He works through his progressions very, very well and wins the pre-snap battle 9 times out of 10. And on top of that, he's been working under a pro-style offense. Where Jake Fromm falls apart, though, and why I think he should have stuck out his senior season, is his mechanics. His arm strength is very weak, which, depending on the throw he's trying to make, can hurt his accuracy, and just in general, his accuracy tends to be somewhat spotty, and his footwork can occasionally get sloppy. At the end of the day, I see Jake Fromm going as a mid-round pick. Now, he needs a mechanical tune-up, and I think it was a mistake to enter the draft rather than taking his final year of college eligibility to focus on this, but as far as the mental aspect of his game goes, he's solid. Coming in at number 6, we have the Oklahoma Sooners quarterback, Jaylen Hertz. Now, Hertz is a senior coming out of the University of Oklahoma, which he transferred to after being supplanted in Alabama by Tagovailoa. And Jaylen Hertz is an incredibly mobile quarterback. His mobility is definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, his biggest strength. And then you add on the fact that he's a relatively accurate quarterback, and the combination of these two strengths makes him a very solid prospect. He's also a natural-born leader and galvanizes any locker room he walks into. Now, that said, Hertz does have some decision-making issues. He also has a habit of focusing in on his first read rather than going through his progressions, and then on top of that, Hertz also struggles with throwing receivers open and can have lapses in accuracy from time to time. Overall, though, Hertz is a mid-round pick and just needs a little bit of time to iron out his game. Next up, at number 5, we have the Washington Huskies quarterback, Jacob Eason. Jacob Eason is a junior coming out of the University of Washington, which he transferred to after being supplanted at Georgia by Jake Fromm. Now, Jacob Eason can absolutely spin the ball. He is a very accurate quarterback with an absolute cannon for an arm, and overall, he's very mechanically gifted. He could work on refining his footwork just a little bit, but it's not an outstanding issue, and he as well isn't incredibly athletic, but he's athletic enough to get the job done. So I don't necessarily view those as major issues with his game. Now, where I do have major issues with Jacob Eason is his speed at which he processes the game. Now, he's a great decision maker, don't get me wrong, and he does go through all of his progressions. However, he's a bit slow with his progressions, and really all Eason needs to do is speed up his progressions and work on his pocket presence as well, because he's somewhat spotty there. But once he's able to refine these points, I think Eason will be a solid NFL quarterback. Eason is definitely an early round pick in the draft. Coming up next at number 4, we have the Utah State Aggies quarterback, Jordan Love, who I've kind of fallen in love with. I promised I wouldn't make that joke. Jordan Love is a junior coming out of Utah State, and I think the fact that he decided to forego his senior season was a great move, because the talent at Utah State surrounding him was only hurting him in the long run. That said, Jordan Love has a bazooka for an arm. Like, this guy is firing footballs out of a bazooka. I shit you not. Love also has great pocket presence and has the added dimension to his game of being a dual threat. However, Jordan Love seriously struggles with decision making and developed some really bad habits in his junior year. Fact is, Love is not a day one starter, but I'd argue he has the most potential of any quarterback in this draft. His ceiling is incredibly high, and if he has the opportunity to sit and learn behind an established veteran to iron out his game, he'll be the steal of the draft. Ultimately, Love's potential alone should make him a mid to late first rounder, but he could end up sliding a bit to the second round. Again, not a day one starter, but has debatably what is the highest ceiling in the draft for a quarterback. Kicking off the top 3, we have the Oregon Ducks quarterback, Justin Herbert. Now, Herbert is a senior coming out of the University of Oregon, where he had significant playing time in each of his 4 years. Now, Herbert has a 6'6" frame with an absolute cannon for an arm. He's great at pushing the ball into tight windows and, for the most part, accompanies his cannon with great accuracy. Overall, Herbert's mechanics, for the most part, are pretty solid, and for the most part, he has solid pocket awareness as well. Now, you've likely noticed my excessive usage of the phrase "for the most part," and that's because Justin Herbert's biggest flaw is his lack of consistency. Look, he has literally all the intangibles needed to be a great NFL quarterback, but it feels as if each and every one of them just come and go from time to time, and he struggles with consistency on almost every front. That said, Herbert should be a first rounder. I could see him slipping early into the second round, but he shouldn't slip much further, if I'm being entirely honest. Moving on to the second best quarterback in this year's draft, we have the Alabama Crimson Tide's quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa. Now, Tua is a junior coming out of the University of Alabama, and I really have no complaints with him coming out early. If he had actually decided to come back for his senior season at Alabama, I actually would have had issues with that. That would have been a big mistake. That said, there's a case to be made for Tua being the best quarterback of this draft. He has everything going for him. His football IQ and decision-making are absolutely elite. He works through his progressions and consistently makes the right reads. He has incredible awareness of what's going on around him. Then you move on to the mechanics, which are all there. Everything from the footwork to the accuracy, absolutely elite. His arm strength is not top-notch, but it's good enough. Everything checks out when it comes to Tua. Everything except for his durability. Tua's coming off of a dislocated hip along with multiple ankle injuries, and yeah, there's reason to be concerned. His injuries are really the only issue, though, when it does come to Tua, and that said, if he stays healthy, he'll have a long, fruitful NFL career. He has all the intangibles, is a fantastic leader, and an incredible prospect overall. He definitely should not slide out of the top 10. And with that being said, that leaves only one possible option for the number one spot on this list. The Heisman Trophy winner, the man who broke almost every single season record at the quarterback position, the man who is arguably coming off of the greatest single season any quarterback has ever had in college football history, the LSU Tigers quarterback, Joe Burrow. Now, Burrow is a senior coming out of Louisiana State University, which he transferred to during his junior year. And Burrow has all the intangibles you could possibly ask for the quarterback position. His football IQ and decision-making are elite. He has incredible poise. He has an innate feel for the game of football. His mechanics are top-notch, everything from the footwork to his accuracy, and he's also surprisingly mobile. Now, he doesn't have an elite arm, which is really his only downside. He's not going to sling it 80 yards like some guys in the draft will, but it's still a great arm nonetheless. That said, there's a reason why Burrow is the top quarterback coming out of the 2020 NFL Draft, and on top of that is the surefire number one pick. That said, that concludes my list of the top 10 quarterbacks coming out in the 2020 NFL Draft, and that's about it for this video. But before I go, let me ask you, who do you think is the best quarterback in the draft?